If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
Well, the season has finally ended. So, yeah, and well, that was kind of a disappointing way to end the season. Like, all that parody, all that hype this year that we've had this season, just for that payoff, that's kind of a cop-out. But before we talk about everything that happened in the Cup race, we got 3 other races we got to talk about this weekend. And don't worry, we're going to get to this. We're going to get to the Coy Gibbs thing when we get there. But let's talk about the other races first beforehand. So starting off the ARCA West race at Phoenix, the ARCA West season finale. Well, this race was pretty kind of meaningless with the championship already wrapped up, but it was still some pretty interesting moments. Like, it was mainly between Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith, since a lot of the ARCA guys from ARCA East and ARCA were all in this race, since it was the final ARCA race in all 3 ARCA series. But yeah, Sammy Smith, he pretty much dominated this race from start to finish. Yeah, and Sammy Smith, it ends up being like Sammy Smith all year at ARCA. Just another Sammy Smith win, as Sammy Smith wraps up the ARCA West season winning at Phoenix. And Jake Drew, he ends up winning his first ARCA West title at Phoenix. And really, he had the title clinched just by starting the race, just firing the engine. Hey, that happens. That happens. Sometimes you have seasons like that. If anyone has a problem with a driver locking up the title like that, here's what I have to say as a counter-argument. Everybody else had all season to not put themselves in that position, and they failed to take advantage of it. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Alright, that's just how motorsports works. Sometimes you have seasons like that. Like, when it's your year, it's your damn year. But yeah, congrats to Jake Drew on winning the ARCA West title. Well deserved for him. Like, Jake Drew, he was the best driver all year in ARCA West. He deserves the championship. No doubt, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But yeah, congrats to Jake Drew. He also rebounds after losing the title to Jesse Love last year in a tiebreaker. So yeah, that's a great way to rebound. So I think Jake Drew's future definitely is bright. Now, does he go to... Now, I imagine he's going to be in the main ARCA next year. Since, he won the ARCA West title, so he's pretty much graduated to main ARCA. But yeah, congrats to Jake Drew on the championship. Well deserved out of him. But before we talk about the other 3 championship races that happened this Sunday, we're also going to address all the silly season free agency announcements we've had this week. So, of course, the other one was of DGR Crosby Racing, David Gillen Racing. They're going to be rebranding to Tricon Racing, as they'll be switching from Ford to Toyota. Seriously, why the fuck are they switching back to Toyota? Because they used to be a Toyota team, and they were like a 2nd or 3rd team in the pecking order at Toyota, which led to them switching to Ford and becoming like one of the top 4 teams, and then they fell to 2nd in the pecking order because of the emergence of Front Row. And now they want to go back to Toyota, where they'll be the 2nd team in the pecking order behind ThorSport? Like, good God, David Gillen is fucking trash at running a race team. Just fucking give it up already. And of course, with this Toyota lineup, they announced their 3-man lineup, as they will have 3 full-time drivers, with the 4th truck being the all-star truck for, like, probably ARCA regulars, Xfinity regulars, and more than likely a couple Cup leeches in there, too. As the 3-man lineup will consist of Corey Heim, along with Tanner Gray and Taylor Gray. So Taylor Gray has graduated from ARCA the Trucks. But sadly, Taylor Gray is going to be forced to miss the first 3 races of the season, because he won't be 18 until COTA, because the NASCAR rules and trucks and Xfinity states that you have to be at least 18 years old to run tracks bigger than 1.25 miles. And the first 3 races are above that because Daytona's 2.5 miles, and then, yeah, Vegas and Atlanta are 1.5 miles. And if anyone's wondering, Taylor Gray turns 18 on the weekend of Dakota race. And, no, by the way, according to rulebook, Taylor Gray will still be allowed to compete at COTA, even though he's not 18. Because if you're under the age of 18 in trucks, you can compete on short tracks shorter than 1.25 miles and road courses. So yeah, and obviously NASCAR's more than likely going to give Taylor Gray a waiver for the gimmick chase next year. Since NASCAR just hands out fucking waivers like candy, and just attempting to run every race is just more of a fucking suggestion at this point. So yeah, and also with this all said, this also means that Hailie Deegan will not be returning to the one truck next year. Because she is under contract with Ford, which means this makes her a free agent now. But she can only sign with a Ford team at the moment. And honestly, I feel like she's going to end up in Xfinity next year. Because you look at the only Ford team really out there that's worth a damn, it's Front Row Motorsports. And I don't see them going to a 2-truck team. Now the question is, what team would Hailie go to in Xfinity? I mean, there is the option of a second SHR car, which is pretty likely. There's also the 07 car for Bobby Daughter. I don't know, maybe the 22 at Penske, if Penske decides to bring the Xfinity program back. Or maybe one of the Rick Ware racing cars. I mean, there are a lot more options for Hailie Deegan with Ford and Xfinity than trucks. To be perfectly honest, she really sucked in trucks. But you know, she showed a lot of potential in her one Xfinity start. So I feel like she should go to Xfinity next year. She showed some potential. I feel like she'll do better in Xfinity than trucks. But considering how bad her trucks career was, that isn't too much of a hurdle to climb. But yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Hailie Deegan there. And also with Kyle Busch Motorsports going from Toyota to Chevrolet, we also learned that Kyle Busch, he will still run his 5 truck races as usual. And the other races, and he'll only run 1 full-time truck next year. As the 18 truck will be withdrawn out. So it's only going to be the 4 and the 51. So yeah, let's see what the other 2 young drivers Chevrolet's going to give him. Chase Purdy? Jack Wood for 10 races? Good Lord, Chevrolet. You were supposed to give Kyle Busch some good fucking talent, not the fucking Expendables. This is a fucking massive downgrade from John Hunter Nemechek and Corey Heim, and Chandler Smith. This is fucking disappointing. Like, Chevrolet literally gave Kyle Busch their sloppy seconds. Like, that's a massive downgrade. So yeah, and Jack Wood's in the 51 truck for the 10 races, while Kyle Busch gets 5 races there, which means that there's like 7-8 dates left for other drivers that get a chance in that 51 truck. There have been rumors about Jimmy Johnson potentially getting a one-off race in the 51 truck. Whether that happens or not is yet to be seen. Of course, on the Cup Series side, we still don't know what's going to happen with that 41 car. Like, that's a time-will-tell type deal because Tony Stewart wants Ryan Preece in that car. Gene Haas wants Cole Custer in that car. Hell, Kevin Harvick even voiced in saying he wants Ryan Preece in the car. So now the question is, who will win the Civil War? Will Tony Stewart win, or will it be Gene Haas? I mean, it's probably going to be Gene Haas since Tony Stewart is still pissed at the NASCAR for that whole Roval deal when SHR manipulated the chase grid at the Roval. But it'll be interesting to see. Honestly, if you ask me, Ryan Preece should be in the 41 because Cole Custer's fucking ass. What has Cole Custer done since that win at Kentucky? Absolutely nothing. Oh, he got a few top 10s. I'm supposed to be impressed with 3 top 10s this season, considering what his other teammates have done. And you look at him. Like, honestly, 3 top 10s, those are the type of numbers you expect out of a shitmobile team, not SHR. But honestly, Cole Custer would probably be better off full-time in Xfinity, because he actually is good in Xfinity and trucks. which I guess that kind of proves that Cole Custer is a good driver, just not a very good Cup Series one. And of course, that doesn't even come to the big news this week, because the big news, Jimmie Johnson, Daddy is coming home. Jimmie Johnson is coming back to the Cup Series as an owner for Petty GMS. So he will be a part owner. He will be a part owner of Petty GMS, and Jimmie Johnson will run part-time for Petty GMS for 5 races, with the Daytona 500 in 2023 being one of them. Probably unknown what his number is, because there was rumors that Rick Hendrick might give Jimmie Johnson the 48 number, just so Jimmy can still have 48 at Petty GMS. Which means, does this mean Alex Bowman's gonna have another number change next year? And if so, what will the number be? Like, if Bowman does get the number change, it's either gonna be probably 25 or 55. I don't see it being the 88, because I think Rick Hendrick's going to keep the 88 open if Dale Jr. ever brings Junior Motorsports up the Cup, since Dale Jr.'s one main number was 88. I mean, we'll have to see what happens there, but I think it's either going to be the return of the 25 or they give Bowman's dirt number 55. We'll have to see. But yeah, Jimmie Johnson's back as an owner-driver. So yeah, I am wishing best of luck for Jimmie Johnson. You know, he's got some pretty good young drivers there that to start off with, some good pieces already in place. You know, with Eric Jones and Noah Gragson in the Cup Series next year. Definitely some good pieces there for sure. But yeah, can Jimmie Johnson actually make Petty GMS competitive? We'll have to see. But the pieces are definitely in place. It seems like Jimmie Johnson might just become an owner at the right time. But yeah, I do wish the best for Jimmie Johnson, but no, I'm not hopping on the Petty GMS bandwagon. It will forever be HMS for life here. But yeah, wishing my old favorite driver, Jimmie Johnson, the best of luck as an owner driver. But yeah, the other 4 races, we'll have to see what they are, because Jimmie Johnson has shown interest in that street race in Chatoilet. He's also shown interest in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. We'll have to see what happens here, because that race runs the same weekend as Indy 500 qualifying. And there's been those rumors about Jimmie Johnson potentially doing the Charlotte Indy double this year. We'll have to see. And so yeah. See, I think Chatoilet could be an option. The Coke 600 if he does the Charlotte Indy double. So there's like 3 dates there. The other 2 dates could literally be anything. Maybe one of the Darlington races. And then the 5th one, we'll have to see what is on the slate. But yeah, it'll be good to see Jimmie Johnson back in a couple of races next year. Hope he does well in all 5. But yeah, anyway, to all that news and everyone else, thank you all for playing this season. But now it's time to get to the championship races that matter this weekend. So now to the Truck Series race at Phoenix. So the Trucks race, this race for the most part was dominated by Shane Smith. Like, it was mainly the Shane Smith show for at least the first 75% of this race. Now, we had a couple late cautions, especially with Hailie Deegan going in the wall there. So, yeah, that's a painful way for Hailie Deegan to potentially end her Truck Series career on. Because will she end up in Xfinity next year? Will she still be in Trucks next year? I mean, I think it's looking likely she'll end up in Xfinity next year. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's just a disappointing way. And then on the pit cycle, a few of the title contenders like Ben Rhodes and a couple took 2 tires, and then Shane Smith made a 4-tire pit stop. And then it looked like Shane Smith might have just gave away the championship there. But then in the closing laps, Shane Smith would work his way all the way back up. Then we will get another late caution after Ty Majeski tried to battle Shane Smith for second. And then just completely lost it off turn 2 and spun out into the infield inside wall with very minor damage, which meant that the Truck Series race goes to overtime. And in overtime, Shane Smith would get past Ben Rhodes for the lead, and then Shane Smith would hold him off and Chandler Smith off, and Shane Smith gets to the line first to not only win the race, but he also wins the 2022 Truck Series Championship. So after the last 2 years of Shane Smith falling 1 spot short of championship, Shane Smith gets it done on the third try. And Shane Smith is your 2022 Truck Series champion. So congratulations to Shane Smith on the championship. Well deserved out of him. He was the best driver all year. He would have won the title under a season-long points format anyway. So Shane Smith earned the title fair and square. And it's also the first championship for Front Row Motorsports in a NASCAR sanctioned series of any kind. See, Front Row, after years of being a shitmobile team in Cup for so many years, they finally won a championship in the Truck Series. So yeah, with this championship, it kind of means that Front Row kind of has some hope for maybe being good in Xfinity in Cup one day. They just need to get the right pieces in place and the right people around to get over that hump. But yeah, now the question is with Shane Smith here. Does this mean that they're just going to have Michael McDowell be a bridge driver until Shane Smith is ready to go for Cup? Because they're going to be looking like they're going to give Todd Gilliland a second season in that 38 car, even though he kind of was in the middle of being between Nemechek and Alfredo. Like, they definitely need some stability on that 38 car because Nemechek was gone after 1 year, and Alfredo was kind of shit in that car last year, and he was told to fuck off after 1 year. So yeah, that 38 team needs some stability because they've gone through three different drivers since David Reagan left that car. But yeah, I think Front Row, a back marker team for much of their existence, finally has their moment. Congratulations to Front Row and Shane Smith, and congrats to all the Shane Smith fans out there. Well-deserved championship from him. So yeah, that's the Truck Series season there. The season has officially wrapped up. As Shane Smith, he started the season winning at Daytona, and he ends the season with the championship. Just the best driver all year in terms of speed and consistency, and it wasn't even close. But yeah, congrats to Shane Smith on that title. And now to the Xfinity Series season finale at Phoenix. And well, this race was completely the Ty Gibbs show. Ty Gibbs dominated this race from start to finish. Like, we were waiting to wonder if anyone was going to get payback at Ty Gibbs from Martinsville. And honestly, Gragson and Brandon Jones both had their chances, but neither took advantage of it. And in the end, both of them decided to play fuck around and find out. And both of them learned you don't play the fuck around and find out game. Because anytime you play fuck around and find out, you lose every goddamn time. And yeah, they both lost in the end. Like, really, Junior Motorsports completely shit the bed at Phoenix with a 75% chance to win the title. Because all three ran well, except Barry. Barry ran like dog shit the entire race, but all three pit crews, good lord, all three pit crews really shit the bed. Especially Gregson's crew. Like, every fucking stop from Gragson, he lost spots on pit lane. But he had a car good enough to just make it up. But in the end, that pit crew just put him in too big a hole to come back and try and beat Gibson. And Ty Gibbs, he would end up holding off Noah Gragson in the closing laps. And Ty Gibbs gets the win and is your 2022 Xfinity Series champion. It kind of sucks that the Xfinity season ended like that. Especially after Ty Gibbs' antics last week. And then he gets the title. Like, 100% the best driver all season was Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson was the rightful champ under a season-long points format. Some fans may argue AJ Allmendinger, but I'd say Gragson was better than Allmendinger. Gragson was better on all around on all tracks. Like, Allmendinger was just mainly good on the road courses this year and struggled with speed everywhere else. But yeah, Ty Gibbs gets his first Xfinity title. And the fans booed him because, yeah, last week. But yeah, honestly, and I was going to have some heavy criticism for Ty Gibbs. Like, Ty Gibbs deserved the win. I'm not going to deny that. He had a fast car, deserved the win, but he wasn't the best driver all year. But I'll lay off on Ty Gibbs with any criticism since before the Cup race, we would learn about the sad news of his father, Coy. as Coy Gibbs passed away from probably a heart attack, because he passed away in his sleep. Like, considering that he passed away in his sleep and that it was so sudden, I think it's more than likely a heart attack. I honestly don't want to know the reason why. Yeah, it's just the entire thing with Coy Gibbs there and Ty Gibbs is sad. It's just so sad what happened after the like that's pretty bad for Ty Gibbs. Like, a day after winning the title and losing your old man, just like that. It's just so sad, especially with how young Ty is at 20, now losing a parent like that. Like, I can relate since I lost my dad to a heart attack when I was a week after I turned 17. 7 years ago. Like, it's just a sad situation there. You know, feel for Joe Gibbs. Because now Joe Gibbs has now lost both his kids to heart attacks, because he lost JD to a heart attack 3 years ago. And the weird part is, both Coy and JD, I mean, the scary part of all this is that both Coy and JD Gibbs were both the same age when they passed away. Age 49. Good God, that's depressing. But yeah, Joe Gibbs has now lost both his kids, which is so sad. Especially a day after Ty won the Xfinity title. And if anyone's wondering, yes, Coy Gibbs was indeed there to celebrate the title for just that night. So yeah, honestly, for Kai Gibbs and that entire team, the championship celebration is now ruined. It's ruined. I don't know how you can celebrate the title now with Coy not there. And Coy Gibbs played a big part with JGR and where they are in the sport now, being the COO of the team. And now both the main pieces that made JGR what they are gone. Both Coy and JD Gibbs. And now Ty Gibbs, that entire future of JGR is now on Ty Gibbs. Like, I'll be honest, when Ty Gibbs goes up the Cup next year, he's going to be probably in a similar situation that Kevin Harvick was in when Dale Sr. passed. Where, you know, he's going to be dependent on a lot. Something similar to what Dale Jr. was also in 2001. Well, after Dale Sr. passed, when Dale Jr. was dependent on to carry the Earnhardt name. Like, when Ty Gibbs comes up, he's going to have a lot of pressure in the Cup, because he's going to have to carry the entire Gibbs name. Like, the entire future of Gibbs is now on him. When Joe Gibbs inevitably kicks the can. But, so yeah, Ty Gibbs is going to have a lot of pressure next year when he's inevitably in that 18 car. Like, I think it's pretty obvious he's going to be in the 18 car. They're going to announce it in like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, it's pretty obvious he's going to be in the 18. It's like, honestly, Ty Gibbs in the 18 is one of the worst kept secrets, being kept as one of the worst kept secrets in the garage. But yeah, we'll see what Ty Gibbs can do in Cup but I imagine he'll be up for the challenge, so we'll see what he can do in Cup next year. Like, let me just say this for Ty. I never questioned his talent. The talent is there. I just question his antics because his antics made him one of the dumbest motherfuckers in the garage. And don't get it wrong, I've still stood by what I've said before. Ty Gibbs was a massive douche and he deserved karma. But he didn't deserve to lose his fucking parent, his father. He didn't fucking deserve that. Like, when I said Ty Gibbs needed to be taught a lesson, losing his father was not what I meant. That isn't it. Like, no one should be forced to lose a parent that young, at that young an age. Like, and I imagine Ty Gibbs his mentality's gonna probably change again, just like it did when JD passed away 3 years ago. Now, whether Ty Gibbs' maturity and mental state changes for the good or bad after Coy passed away, that's yet to be seen. It's a time will tell type deal. But yeah, because we all know, because anyone that's ever lost a parent or a loved one before, it changes you a lot. It does. Because I changed for a lot since my father passed away 7 years ago. So yeah, yeah, we got this news Sunday right before the Cup Series race, which is a good leadway into the Cup Series race. So, to the Cup Series race, I'll be honest, I lost all positive mojo for this race right after the Coy Gibbs announcement. Like after an announcement, it just didn't feel like a championship race anymore. Like any positive vibe was killed off just with that news. It was just a sad situation. But of course, as the old saying is, the show must go on. And yeah, and in the end, though, this race was fucking boring. Like, this race, nothing really happened. It was just a Logano show from start to finish. Like, the only driver that was competitive to him was Ryan Blaney. Yeah, and then Blaney shit the bed near the end. Like really throughout this race, none of the Championship 4 contenders really ran near each other. Well, except the other 3 who were close to each other. Until Chase Elliott had got turned by Chastain on a restart early in stage 3. When Chastain got a good run on the restart, Chase Elliott tried to block him. Like, let's be real, Chastain didn't do anything wrong. Like, Chastain had a run, and he was there. Elliott came down on him, and Elliott ended up turning himself into the wall. And yeah, that ends Chase Elliott's championship bid. So yeah, that also ends the HMS three-peat, the bid for an HMS three-peat. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing how the three-peat ended. So Chase Elliott still finished the race, but he finished like 2 laps down. So yeah. But yeah, really, the other 3 teams really struggled in this race. Like Chastain, Bell, and Elliott. Like Chastain, like on the final round of green flag stops, Chastain's pit crew really shit the bed on that pit stop, and then when the caution came out late for Alex Bowman's wreck, oof, that's a painful way for Bowman to come back. At least it wasn't the rear end that hit the wall this time, and it was the front end. But yeah, hopefully nothing bad happened to Bowman there. Because that's Bowman's first race back since he suffered that concussion from his crash at Texas. But, yeah, And then on the final round of stops, Christopher Bell's pit crew shit the bed when Bell's tire changer ended up having his finger caught between the lug nut and the wheel. That's gotta fucking hurt. Honestly, that crew member's lucky that didn't result in an amputation, because that could have been a whole lot worse than what ended up happening. But yeah, not only just possible amputation, but possible nerve damage too. But he looked like he was fine as he ended up getting an ice pack on his hand though. But yeah, really, everyone else in the Final Four struggled except for Logano. Like, Logano's team made no mistakes. He did everything right while everyone else just shot themselves in the foot. And really for Chastain, like, I'll be honest here, if that pit crew didn't shit the bed on that green flag stop, I think Chastain could have got to Logano. But in the end, we'll never truly know. And in the end, despite Ryan Blaney's best efforts, Blaney was probably told to just stay behind Logano. So maybe possibly some team orders or manipulation, but hey, NASCAR said manipulation is okay, as long as you don't make it sound obvious on the radio. And Logano goes on and wins the race and the finale. And Joey Logano claims his second Cup Series title. And his second title in 5 years. Wow, really? All of this just for a Logano championship? Kinda weak. Like, really? All the fucking parity we've had this season just for this payoff? This kind of blows. And don't get it wrong, this was a good season for NASCAR, especially with all the parity we've had. But the second half of this, like, the first half of the year was really good. But the second half of the year was when the season went downhill. Because, well, really Logano winning the title, it just kind of was a letdown. Not only that, you also had Kurt Busch's concussion that effectively ended his career. And then you had a lot of flaws and loops exposed in this next-gen car. Especially with the car catching on fire numerous occasions. Specifically with the Ford cars. And it also happened again in the finale with Keselowski's car catching on fire. crappy ass parts. Just so many, just the season went downhill the second half of the year. But yeah, this car did produce some good racing, but it has a lot of on the intermediate tracks. Road courses, there were some races it was good, some where it was bad. Like road courses, it was the equivalent of boom or bust. And in the short tracks, this car sucked ass on it, except that first Richmond race, but that was mainly because of pitch strategy. If there was no pitch strategy, that race would have fucking sucked. But yeah, definitely this car still has a lot of bugs and shit to fix in this car. Honestly, this year is just an example of why you don't fucking rush shit. Because usually if you try and rush things, you end up making mistakes 9 times out of 10. And yeah, just that happened. But yeah, pretty disappointing. They're pretty disappointing payout. Just like, honestly, this race was kind of boring. Like, a couple things I can take from this is that one, the championship should not come down to one race every fucking year. Like honestly, I've been against this chase format since the beginning. Like, I've tried to give it a chance on a couple times, but I've been really 100% anti-playoff train since Crafton's championship in trucks in 2019. I've been off that train really since then. Like, after the trucks championship, I flat out told everyone a few years ago, any chance of me defending this format went out the window with Crafton's championship. For fuck's sakes, I fucking hated this format even when Larson won the title last year. But hey, at least Larson was the best driver all season last year and deserved the title. Like, to be perfectly honest, the best driver all year in Cup, some fans will say it was Chase Elliott, but I disagree. I say Ross Chastain was better than Chase Elliott. I think Chastain was the best driver all year and deserved it more than everybody. Like, I mean, look at the other feel-good stories. Like, Chastain trying to cap off one of the best underdog seasons since, Alan Kulwicki in 1992, 30 years ago? You know, Christopher Bell trying to win it for Coy and everyone in the Gibbs family. And then Elliott trying to complete the HMS 3P to get a second title in 3 years. All 3 good storylines, right? Well, NASCAR said too fucking bad. Nope. We can't have that. Logano, fuck that Logano championship. You're going to have a Logano title and you're going to fucking like it. Yeah, and also, Joey Logano gets his second Mickey Mouse title. Both times coming at someone else's expense. Because title number 1, Logano got that title during Kyle Busch's best season. And now this one, he gets it during Ross Chastain's breakout season. And also, really, this race didn't live up to the hype. Because this race got fucking overhyped out the ass. Especially after last week. With Chastain's video game move heard around the world. And honestly, that's just vintage NASCAR for you. Hyping everyone up after the video game move at Martinsville, only at Phoenix in the finale for NASCAR to dick punch the fan base back to reality. Yeah, this was just vintage NASCAR. Hype everyone up after a feel-good moment last week, only to dick punch the fan base the following week back to reality. And I'll just say this for the finale. Putting the championship championship race at Phoenix was a massive mistake. Like if you're gonna have a one race winner take all format, it should not it should not be at Phoenix. It should be a track that can produce good racing and a track where you can actually fucking pass people. Like, honestly, the championship race should either go back to Homestead or it should go to Las Vegas or hell, even for Auto Club. Because of how good this car was at intermediates. Well, except maybe, anywhere but Texas, honestly. Well, honestly, I wouldn't even be against it going to Nashville Super Speedway. Because Nashville Super Speedway was a really good race this year. Like, honestly, anywhere but Phoenix and Texas, to be honest. But yeah, just a very disappointing weekend. Like, their vibe was killed off with the Coy Gibbs news, and honestly, Logano winning the title doesn't really help it at all. It just kind of makes it feel sad. Like, I'm not even angry about Logano winning the title. Just massively disappointed. Like, I just feel like I was let down with everything this year. Just to have it end like that. But yeah, honestly though, thank God the season's over. Because I need a massive break from everything. Because this is the most worn out I've been after a season in a long time. I mean, especially when I went to like 6 Penny Series races this year, plus an IndyCar race in Toronto. So yeah, just need a break and focus on other content. I will have some NASCAR videos in the off season. Like, I'll have the season prediction results video up sometime this week. I am going to do the 2022 version of NASCAR with F1 points video sometime in December as my once a year Topper Gofin tradition. And I am going to do my own version of my Dream 2024 Cup Series schedule as some of the aggressive bold changes I would make to the schedule. But but honestly though, with this chase format, we can bitch about it all we want. We're still stuck with it for at least 2 more years until the current TV contract expires. So yeah, as much as we can bitch and complain and say how it's an illegitimate way to crown a champion and that they should go back to season-long points. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with locking up the championship early. Anyone that thinks it's a bad idea does not understand motorsports. And everyone's saying, oh, well, if they had season-long points and someone locks up the title early, then nobody will watch the remaining races. Well, if they don't watch the remaining races after a title's locked up because the championship's locked up, then they were never true fans to begin with. Hell, just look at F1. Everyone's saying that no one's going to watch F1 after Verstappen locked up the title with 4 races left. I mean, Coda had a really good turnout. And hell, look at Mexico last week. Mexico had nearly 400,000 people showed up for a race that was considered meaningless. I mean, people are still going to fucking watch. A lot of them. Because people don't just watch it just for entertainment. They watch it because they're motorsports fans. Just this fan base has its fair share of village idiots, but that's just NASCAR for you. But yeah, just pretty disappointing end of the season. So, what do you want me to say? Just very disappointing. It was just a Sunday, which is a very sad day. Just a very sad feels. Just for a mid result. Like, honestly, the main highlight of the weekend was Saint Smith winning the championship. Saint Smith winning the Trucks title was the high point this weekend. And then after that, it just went completely downhill right after. But yeah, Phoenix honestly should not host the championship race. Because really every championship race at Phoenix has kind of sucked. Like, out of all 3, the best one was probably 2021. Because of how many comers and goers there were with the Final 4. But yeah, and also with this race, Brian Blaney is now 0-11 when leading 100+ laps in a race. Good fucking God, Blaney can't fucking finish the deal. Like, can Blaney actually not fucking trip over himself for once? But yeah, just a lot of things need to be ironed out from NASCAR in the coming years. We'll have to see what kind of bold changes they'll have for the schedule in 2024. But yeah, it was a good season, but just a very disappointing end. But yeah, that wraps it up here. I'll be back with the recaps in the February, and I'm guessing January with the Clash coming up. But yeah, I'll have season prediction results coming up at the end and sometime later this week. And I'll have a couple videos up, including the HMS wins compilations within either this week or next week. But yeah, anyway, that wraps it up for this year. To everyone that watched the channel, thank you. And also with Logano win the title, means that this reign is officially over. Well, I will no longer hold the NASCAR Heavyweight Championship. It was a good two-year run with the title, but in the end, all good things must come to an end. And you know what? I feel like it's time to let somebody else hold that mantle. You know, hopefully with how much I stepped my game up the last 2 years, with some of the content I've done, hopefully I put some prestige on that kind of honor, and hopefully somebody else can carry that honor for the future. But honestly, all I say to the HMS, it sucks having a season end this way as an HMS fan. Hoping to have a chance at this repeat and just falling short. Sucks that they fall short. But hey, you can't win them all at the end of the day. All I say is, at least the HMS championship window is still wide open for a few more years. And I feel like Kyle Larson will have a bounce-back season in 2023. But yeah. And also, Chase Elliott becomes the first driver in the Chase Grid era to finish 4th out of the Final 4 in back-to-back seasons. An honor nobody wants. But yeah, just, good season, but this was just a very sad weekend to end on. Like, Sunday was just a sad day. Just a very sad day. But yeah, anyway, that wraps it up here. That's all I gotta say. See y'all later. I'm out.